All right, the recordings are great. I've got that all set up to go. Welcome along, everyone, to Stage. We've got over 4,000 people listening today. So we've got a special AMA on. I'm actually personally in Greece, so I've missed a lot of the action that's been happening in Discord. And by action, it's been pretty rough in the last couple of days from everything I see. There's a lot of FUD. There's a lot of nervous people in the community. We're a game that's approaching 1 million daily active users, and there's a lot of things being thrown around the last couple of days. So I had lists written down for research for the AMA for the weekend. I can definitely feed off of those, but I mean, this is the second time we've done a midweek AMA that we've kind of needed in the 6 months. So I think that's a good positive thing to look at anyway. But it's good. Yawn, welcome to Stage. Pretty trying times this week, yeah? A few nervous people?
Yes, I think we just put out a tweet in the middle of this week, and I think we actually wanted to wait until this Saturday to explain, the whole system of how it works. And seems that is causing a little of commotions in the community, which we feel that we need to address that before the Saturday, so that people actually understand how things work.
So when you say the tweet, you're talking about the realms, yeah? That was pretty massive news, and that's the tweet you kind of made?
Yes, and because we actually trying to keep a little bit of our secrecy there, that not explaining how it works, and saving some alphas for Saturday, and and seeing that people are feeling that somehow the Solana server or chain has been abandoned, but that's not the truth. So which is the reason that we're having the AMA today, just to set something straight.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I've had a space yesterday with Jason, as we do every week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I kind of talked about it a little bit. And I mean, I saw the Realms thing as pretty exciting personally. So this isn't me trying to wash hands or shield the project or anything like that. Anybody can see Solana and Binance is one realm each. There's two realms. It looks like from the tweet we've had a third realm that might already be organised and coordinated with the team, and it's put out an advertisement for a fourth realm, and the theory crafting behind that and thinking about it is massive. It is something awesome. But it's all tied into the GMT, right? It's all tied into this utility that we've talked about for months now. Really,
that's correct.
The project, it's all tied into GMT, one utility token. So it doesn't matter what server you're going to earn that on. And even during, where was it? It was in your AMA this week with Baron. Sorry, Paul Baron. You talked
Paul Baron, yes.
Yeah, so that was a big AMA. For people that haven't seen that, you should absolutely go and watch that AMA. Paul Baron on YouTube. He's got 400,000 followers. I'm not shilling another YouTuber just for the point of it. It was a good source of information. So, I mean, it all links up to the utility token, which eventually we know that's what takes the longevity of the project any further. But I mean, obviously there's a lot of, you'd say toxicity. You'd have to say toxicity. A lot of toxic people in the community in the last week that are going, well, how come Binance is 10 times Solana? You're forgetting about Solana. But the case of it is you're going to earn GMT on any chain, and it's all going to be effectively the same price, yeah?
Yes. So people will see we're going to roll out many, many updates in the coming months. That what we are planning in this phase 4. We have actually 3 major updates we're going to make in the next week, so months. And a little bit of delay. So we're supposed to roll out some of the updates weeks ago, but that's when we roll out the phase 4 banners on the Twitter. But nevertheless, we are roughly get ready, and we're going to start to roll out what is actually going to happen in the phase 4. And the realm will be, unfortunately, the phase 5. So there's going to be a little bit of wait for people.
The realm's phase 5, because you said 2 to 3 months away, and I think the tweet said it, or it was on Paul Barron you said it. So you did say 2 to 3 months before we're looking at a third realm.
At least 2 to 3 months.
So, I mean, there's so many things that we can talk about, and there's so much happening in the game and in the space, and maybe maybe some of the pushback is people feel like it's too much. What would you kind of say with that, Yawn? Like, we're going to have a whole heap of questions thrown in stage 2, and just before we get to some of those, I want to give Yawn a chance to talk and answer some of these things as well, and then we absolutely want to get to these stage questions. So, I mean, do you think it's too much too quickly? Like, we've got major game mechanics changing, we've got NFTs coming out, we've got the minting scrolls coming out, we had the Binance chain. Obviously, it's been a very different price change. There's people talking about the Genesis sneaker holders being over-rewarded, everybody else under-rewarded, but then we've got the FOMO. Do you know, like, there is so much happening in the space. It's not a simple thing to just look at. We need to make sure we vigilantly stay up to date with the information. So maybe that might be a bit too much, or what do you think, Yawn?
So again, we're looking at the history. We started December last year, so we're literally 6 months old. And as much as we wanted to push things forward, sometimes we have to be really patient with some of the updates, and especially with some of the things we're building in the background. That will need a lot of battle tests before we actually roll it out, which we're going to talk about later today. Really, I think the reason that we're here today is to address the filings, and we've been hearing a lot of filings, I think, starting from this morning, and we actually feel it. We understand that. Really, I think the filing because, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, I want to do a special shout out to Gilgamesh. She's worked super hard during this time, and because I'm away traveling at the Solana Hacker House, I've made sure my friends are also helping me by monitoring it. And they even said Gilgamesh has been absolutely stellar within the community and trying to address it and help it. Jerry, you popped in as well today to put a bit of a stop to it. So it's been something I think in the last few days. It's built up to maybe today, Yawn. So do you want to go into the footings of it? So the details about what's the core? People are thinking that we're just going to leave Solana to die.
Yeah, I mean, people feel insecure. I think that's what they feel, and a little bit maybe betrayed because they think, we did really went tough on the GST prices when it was on Solana up to the $8, and then we didn't do anything, but which is not true. Which, when the BNB hit 40, we actually make some changes. But generally speaking, I think it is where people feel that we didn't do much when the GST prices on BNB is starting to go off the roof, and which is we've done really tough measurement when it's back to the Solana blockchains. But I think I need to address that the BNB chain, it is a testing ground, and time is a little bit different. So because we trying to verify with the realm system, we were actually conceptualizing a week or months ago, that will that be a thing that we can, or will that be feasible or plausible? So with the realm system, I will come that explaining how it works later. So I'll spare people to watch the Paul Barron's interview. But back then, right, we only have one ecosystem, which is the Solana ecosystem. And we have to treat it very carefully because we don't want to end up like Axie. Sorry about talking Axie in that way. But again, that's really what happens if you allow the price to go off the roof. And people will speculate and people will trade. And then when the momentum exhausted, the price will went down. And then that'll be the end of the game. So we don't want to end up like that. And we want to be more innovative in creating a really long-term project. So with the road system and with the energy sharing mechanics. So basically, we are trying to build a true metaverse. So which means that each realm is pseudo-independent, but they're all connected by the GMT. So Solana realm become like the base. So which is the reason that we try to address here is that Solana realm is not being abandoned, right? With a new design, basically, people will have much more diverse choice of what they wanted to do on the Solana realm. When I cannot disclose actual mechanics of the energy sharing, but even making Solana blockchains, user behavioral activities very much more interesting in the future. So there will be a lot of hinge down the track. So no longer, so basically it's boring now. People just mine GST. So we're trying to make more diverse strategies for user to utilize on Solana chain. So with many more realms open in the future, so basically people will need a lot of Solana sneakers because they need that as an energy source. And that will create a lot of demand for Solana sneakers, which again, the demand for the GST on Solanas. So in a way, when they are buying all these Solana sneakers, because it's affordable, right? The new round will be much more expensive, like on BNB, for example. So they are not making GST with those sneakers on Solana chain. So meaning that they are buying, but they are not spending. So that will make the demand for Solana's GST or sneakers maintain a relatively higher level where the most of the user base are all still based on Solanas. So if the demand is high, then people will starting to buy sneakers on their local realm because this demand will push up the price, right? So nobody will buy Solana sneakers going back to their equilibrium. And when they see there's another opportunity to buy Solana sneakers because it's cheaper, then they will start to buy and back and forth again. It's exactly like the way we design the GST and GMT earning. It's all hinged around this equilibrium. So if Solana sneaker getting really expensive, they will buy the local realms. If the Solana sneaker become cheaper, they will buy Solana realms. And with the new realm, the GST is in a much higher price, which means when we enable the GMT earning, the new realm people will have zero interest in earning the GMT because maybe the GST will again become $20, $40, for example. So that will make GMT earning on Solana much more preferable. And where Solana chain will always have the highest level of gems and apparently be more affordable. And then people will basically utilize the GMT earnings.
Just while we're going here, Yawn, because there's two important parts to just, sorry to interrupt. So one of the reasons we need to highlight why GST is so high on the new realm is because there's a lower user base, a lower daily active users, and there's not enough people mining it, therefore making that coin the higher price, yes?
Yes. And also they will have people that speculate the GST prices. As now, there are exchanges listing the BNB GSTs. I think it was that the MXC, something like that. So it's a combination of force of risk takers, speculators, and also BNB users, basically. So everything happened, even in the real society, is that you will come with different forces, all clash, and then this is what we see. And
this is the thing as well, as you're talking there, people are speculating on the new coin. You've got potential, because it's crypto as well, it's not just a game. It's not just getting out with such simple mechanics of you're going to earn this money, you're going to spend it, it's going to be spent on either a repair cost or purchasing a new sneaker or whatever. There's people that could potentially purchase up a heap of the token and aim to short a coin, aim to long a coin, aim to play crypto. Like it's really in depth. Crypto gaming in itself is a whole lot of things thrown into one, yeah? Not sure if you got that one, Yawn. Can you hear Yawn, Jerry, at all?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah, so let's wait for Yawn. And
so it's just got a small disconnection there, yeah.
yeah.
Off the line?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, after the question, Yawn, you went. So it's just around talking about how this isn't just a game, it's more because we're in this crypto space. We've got people potentially shorting a coin, longing a coin. We've got DDoS attacks while some of these things are happening. Like people are trying to take advantage of not just the actual game itself, right? It's a whole lot of risk involved in these games that you guys have to see these back end numbers and make those calls, those managements for.
Yeah, so now we are full-fledged 24/7 under DDoS attack. And again, and that almost, got me thinking that something fishy is going on here. But again, back on the topic. The issue with the GMT is people seem not realize that we have plans with Solana chain, and also we have plans for GMT. In the past 2 months, so roughly we started to take off around March, right? And now it's May. So from March to May, we roughly burned 120 million GMT from minting and other GMT use cases in the app. So we believe firmly that in the end, the GMT will find these right places with more realms be open, with more use cases coming up. So once we enable the GMT earning, there'll be far less GMT circulating compared to now. And then that'll be the new chapters, of the Solana blockchain. So because in the BNB chain, people are probably going to still earn in the GST as well as the new realms. That's the third one. But I think that will open up the opportunity for people to arbitrage between the GST and GMT on Solana chain first, and then utilize various of different mechanics, pretty much only also available on Solana chain, because having BNB chain sneaker as sort of energy source will be very much too expensive.
So I'm talking about that. That means obviously when the third chain comes out, people that will have the Solana, the heavily stacked Volta sneakers, will have a higher benefit from actually purchasing one sneaker on the third realm. Yeah. So
this is to do with the energy sharing mechanics. So we roughly have that design, but again, we are not going to tell how the mechanic works up until we are ready to go, because we are still have a lot of things in the pipelines we need to roll out before that. So that's the reason Jerry was saying that we're probably going to be 4 weeks away from changing how the energy is shared. So I think that's where, again, a little bit of miscommunication within the team, that we were referring the new mechanic installation for the energy sharing. So not that we're going to stop energy sharing. I think
that's 3.5 weeks away from now.
Yeah. So we were having an all new system, which we're adding another sort of way for people to earn on Solana. So Solana blockchain will no longer, so people might find earning other things become very much viable versus just earn GST. Because in the end, really the whole purpose for us to develop diverse strategies for different kind of people to utilize their energies.
I mean, this is what you're saying. So 600 million GMT released, 120 million burnt, and 30% was the figure that you've set as to when the opening event is started. So we're about 2/3 of the way through into our GMT burning event, yeah?
We will not talk about which percentage of the GMT can be burned until we enable the GMT earning, because that will create a lot of speculations. And we will rather keep that secret up until when we're going to release the figures. And also, the back end, we haven't reached to a conclusion of at what percentage, basically. So I will say don't guess on what percentage, but we'll let people know once we are closing to that figure.
And what time frame can we expect for a general kind of announcement for that GMT?
It's really dynamic, right? So if we are burning the GMT faster than we thought, then we will push the GMT earning forward. It's also, it will depends on the speed, basically how much how fast basically the GMT are burned.
Oh, so, I mean, that's really cool. That's a good explanation for a lot of Solana. I mean, people need to be obvious. Earning GMT, if it's the same token, or you can swap one for one from BSC into Solana, then there's no way you would earn GMT on Binance. That's pretty logical to me. So obviously you can get a sneaker for, let's say, a jogger for 40 Solana on an uncommon GMT earner on Binance. That sneaker is going to cost you 6 to 7 to 10 times the amount. So obviously price impact, you're better off farming it on Solana. It makes sense. So there's no way Solana's going. And you're saying there, I think, Jerry, there was some pictures put in from you through the week where you're saying the mechanics aren't fully there. You may not completely abolish the actual energy sharing. It just might be a readjustment, which then what you're saying now, Yawn, is those mechanics need to be built in. And this is why we've got that time wait, 3.5 weeks now for people listening.
Yeah, so the mechanic design, and basically we have to verify if it is a viable mechanic. So that actually need us to run some modelings before we say, yep, this is the pathway we wanted to take. So we have roughly done the design, and then we need to verify, and then we're going to put into actual implementations. That take about roughly 4 weeks. That's the estimate time where we announced that, which is I think last week. So yeah, so roughly that's basically the whole sort of the big update we're trying to make. And really, that will break us away from this enclosed ecosystem, which we I've talked about a little bit in various of AMAs that with entropies that we need to actually get external entropies so that we will maintain the stabilities of the project. And enable the realm will enable us to tap into other ecosystems. So the realm really not as simple as people think is another blockchain, which is not the case. I can run multiple realms under Solana chain, or I can run multiple realms on BNB chain, and so on and so forth. So realm is more like you can consider this almost like a sponsorship or a brand partnerships, for example.
I was always just thinking of it as a different server. So, like you've got your
exactly. Like a World of Warcraft, right? So you have realms. Exactly how it works.
And I mean, I don't want to drop game names and stuff, but it's not limited to a blockchain. You said that the team has said it in their tweet, taking on bids for the 4th slot. That could be a high-end partnership with a high-end company that has hundreds of thousands of employees that they want to highlight. It's a really great chance for STEPN to take it into a commercial product and company that wants to utilize the STEPN game and metaverse. This is something that I took away from it personally.
Yes, and so this is the transition for us actually from a B2C to B2B2C, basically. So by working with, say, the co-branded partners, we've tried the co-branded sneakers with ASICs, and it is great. But we were thinking about how can we do more, right? How can we capture more users, the user that we cannot capture without, for example, this realm system. So then we get ideas, right? So the partners could be anyone which have its own communities. So it's almost like we share portion of our community, and the other project or other, for example, business share a portion of their community, and then it's become like a 1 + 1 = 3 scenario, right? Make it bigger, and we roll out 1, roll out 2, so on and so forth, and that will really enable us to reach much more audience, because in the end, right, if we tap into like all the runners, all the, for example, people take an interest in exercising, there's still going to be a limit. But if we're working with business, then basically it will be a series of onboarding BDs, and making always new opportunities for people, right? If they miss the opportunity on BNB chain, that's fine. They can go to the 3rd round. If they miss the third round, that's okay. It goes to the 4th round. So always be opportunities for people to explore. And so this is another issue that we constantly ask ourselves: what happened for the latecomers? In like a GameFi where the first comers have all the perks and they have all the Genesis sneakers. What left for the later comers? And we think this will be a better opportunity because everybody deserves a second chance. For example, that if they came to a Solana chain and you seem to be late, that's fine. Wait for the next server and become the first adopters on that server.
That's right. And I mean, the price, I don't want to go too deep into prices with the token prices versus Solana, and we're seeing Bitcoin down at the moment as well, but the actual ROI is still fairly good on the Solana versus comparison of GST because it's still holding up, isn't it? There's that 2-month ROI roughly. I mean, not financial advice, but to me, I see Solana as completely still a viable option. Yes, I mean, I'm also on Binance. I had Genesis sneakers. So for the people out there, of course, I mean, it makes sense to spread your wings and to actually do that. I talk about this every session with people about both chains and stuff like that. But it's still tied back to the underlying factor that Solana is going to be the best at the moment to earn GMT. And so that doesn't make sense for me that will change. Does that mean Yawn, at the moment, we know Genesis holders, it's effectively a blue chip NFT, and then there's going to be the Genesis on Binance, that's the 10,001 to 20,000. They could potentially hit rewards on the third realm, the fourth realm. Is that kind of a possibility? Does that go on to your point now about how you're saying that might still be over rewarding the people that have been lucky enough to have been in the system? Is there could be potential kickbacks from that? Yeah, like people could sort of be pushing on to the point you're just saying now.
I mean, I have to stand corrected that it's 12,000 because it's only 2,000, a little bit more than 2,000 actually on BNB chain. I think 2,100, something like that, because we airdropped some BNB Genesis sneakers to various of giveaways. Let's say just 2,100 plus 10,000, that would be 12,100 Genesis sneakers out there that will receive perks, basically. And again, these sneakers basically become the ticket. People can treat it freely. It's almost like a board apes, right? You hold board apes, you get board apes, airdrops, same stuff. So I think it will be our main objective to make the app sustainable in the long term, because actually we have been criticized recently for unsustainable. And I do understand the concern or even the scrutinies or questions. Doesn't matter how or what the reason behind the questions. I take that as a valid inquisition. And we constantly ask ourselves of how do we make this app sustainable, right? So we, as people can see, we have implemented a lot of new ideas. And we are quite satisfied with the realm system. Basically, I've been mentioning the theory of relativity a lot recently, that the time and space is almost intrapable, that with enough time and we can build more spaces, and with enough space, that gives us enough time, and so on and so forth. So these two are almost intertwined to each other, where I believe that as we rolling out this new server or realms, basically we are burning the GMT at even faster pace and enable the GMT and GST price crossover on Solana. And then people will be break away from these death spiral assumptions, because which to a point I've been sick of hearing that word. And reason that the death spiral occurred because the token prices and NFT prices fall together. And why they fall together? Because the game token literally was nothing as it's being inflated. But people have to understand with the macroeconomy, if you have a deflationary token or currency in any country, in any economy, it will be a devastation to that economy, because people will literally not spend that currency, right? So if your currency can buy one bread today, if you hold out for another week, you can buy 2 bread, because it's deflationary. It works more. And guess what? Nobody's going to buy anything. And everybody's going to starve to death. So that's the reason every economy, you will need to hit that 2% inflation from the central bank. That's how central banks works and how economy works. And that's the reason we need the GST to be an inflationary token to start with. And as we grow, they're always going to need a value captures of that entire protocol or system or ecosystem or community, doesn't matter, right? So in the NFT world, that'll be the NFT. But as we are a NFT plus token, right? So the best value capture is, yes, a Genesis sneaker. And second will be the GMT token. Sorry, I'm not speaking loud enough. Sorry, I've been speaking all day and I almost lost my voice.
All right, you come loud and clear to me. I mean, same volume as Jerry. So just for people, you can always manually turn us up as well.
So that's really the concept is once we build enough flywheels and enable enough GMT being burned and have that doing in a longer period of time, then you create consensus, you create beliefs, and you create need, and you create actual values, and we will have that. Then you enable the GMT earnings. And then you're starting to see the GMT GST prices cross over. And then when people are earning something with a limited supply, that's no longer a death spiral. Especially that limited supply token, we will provide more and more use cases. And that's the reason that we are building several projects concurrently with STEPN. And that going back to the metaverse thing, right? So what is the purpose of STEPN? Right? Yes, it's move to earn. Yes, it's curb the global warming. But the ultimate purpose is to bring millions of the Web2 users to Web3 and to truly offer them a Web3 experience. And that is the purpose, meaning that we are building a whole series of infrastructures that will taking these people on a series of flywheels. So we're going to release our DEX next month, which will be the first step of providing additional use cases for the GMT and also providing additional features where people can explore. And then so on and so forth, we'll build more down the track and we'll build better and easier to use other platforms. And ultimately, we'll enable the Web2 users to try STEPN, have their first decentralized wallet, go to the DEX, make their first swap, and doing so on and so forth, which with other things I cannot say, otherwise they'll kill me. So that is the ultimate purpose of STEPN. And that is the reason we think the whole project is sustainable. And that's the reason that we believe the GMT will be the true value capture of the whole project. And as we create more time and bigger place, more infrastructures, and less supplies of the GMT token, you're starting to see how we can make this app or the entire, what we call metastructure, very much robust. And with the speed we deliver, I think we can get this all done by the end of next year.
So you said the DEX for possibly June, that'll be July, would it?
And it's already been done. So it's a matter of time we finish the auditing and we can roll it out in June.
It's huge news, but I mean, we know that the last onboarding of developers for the team was 100 developers. So obviously you've had big things you're building towards. So the DEX is going to be on Solana, then, is it?
We'll build it across different protocols as we are onboarding more public chains. So it will become STEPN onboarding public chains, not public chain onboarding STEPN in the future.
It's an important one because then that helps because at the moment using multi-chain, people are needing to swap wallets, different exchanges, go different places to get USDC or even GST into Binance, then Binance onto. It's quite difficult for them, isn't it?
So yeah, we'll build a multi-chain swap. For whatever public chain we're adopting, we'll have a swap for that.
Now, there's a whole heap of stuff that I think we'll be able to ask in the weekend. Like there's going to be a lot of questions there. I just saw one message quickly regarding things like minting scrolls and how that's going to affect the game and stuff like that. But do we want to get into some crowd questions? That's kind of one of the reasons we're here, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Sure.
You know, we're halfway through. So I like what I've heard so far today regarding. Obviously, people need to think about GST. It's an unlimited coin, so GMT isn't far away from being used, being earnings, and having the two coins. People are going to pick and choose which ones to earn at the time. The DEX this would be the first time that's been mentioned, though, Yawn? Yeah, the DEX.
We're trying to hold off lots of news, but again, some people are not understanding what kind of metastructure we are building. And as the DEX is probably around the corner, I feel that we can just mention it. And of course, we'll not mention something else we're building as well. So yeah, Jerry?
Yeah, I think once we release the DEX, they will be the number one. I mean the top trade volume out of all the DEX. Sorry, I just still not 100% recovered from the COVID.
You're still working too hard, Jerry. I definitely understand that. Get some rest. All right, let's get into some of these questions. Will we open up any APIs for community data scientists?
API, we will find the right time. I think we will looking at around the next quarter as we have too much things we need to deliver. And we have to deliver what we promise. API is not something we promise, so that will be moving to the bottom of the priority list.
Have we got a current data numbers we can track, current listing of users on both chains?
I think we are looking at about 800,000 on Solana chain, and Jerry probably have the data on the BNB chain. Or he's not.
What data are you asking for?
User base.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
All right, so I'm going to have a lot of questions because these people writing in questions at the very start. So the update on the energy sharing is you'll have to go back to AMA and rewatch it, but at the moment the energy sharing exact details won't be given, but 3.5 to 4 weeks looks likely for that.
We probably can talk about it a week ahead or drop some hint, but it's again, it will be open up new models for people to make earnings, and having a diverse strategy is always what we are working on. Not just mine GST, sell it on the market. That's boring, right? We're trying to actually produce something is interesting to use.
This question is something I've seen pinged out a couple of times. How will it affect the project if the GST Solana price goes down on a daily basis? Now, I mean, it's hard to say when we've got BTC in the market moving down, isn't it? Like seeing that going down on a daily basis with the other crypto.
I think we have planned out the next 12 months of what we will roll out. And again, it's very difficult to fight this upwind battle of the bear market. And for what we believe, if the GST price goes down, let's say, for example, next to zero.
No. Yeah. Just go on.
Then mute it, Jerry. And
okay.
Then basically we will design the GMT earnings, right? So the GS really the equilibrium of the prices of GST and GMT is all sort of intertwined. So you cannot separate these two from each other. So that's the whole point of enable the majority to earn the GMT, so that when the GST price goes down, they move to earn GMT, and so on, vice versa. So it is what we designed, and we believe that GMT price will not go to zero for obvious reasons.
Well, I mean, in the end, you're going to have 4 choices at the moment to pick and choose. So people can earn GST or GMT on both chains in the end. So, I mean, obviously, again, GMT on the Binance side of things probably wouldn't be viable. But that gives people ultimately 3 choices.
Actually, more with the new system implemented.
Yeah, the new systems, that's right. I have got several questions here regarding the mystery boxes and the scrolls. Did we want to talk about that quickly, at least, Yawn, or has there been more data given out to the community?
There's no data, but I think we can briefly touch some pointing on that.
If you want to talk about that now, and I'll just get a few more questions lined up.
Okay, so minting scroll, we basically have run several models and hypotheses. We still think it has to come from the mystery box and positively proportional to the energy users spend. And also people will expect a completely not completely. People expect some changes to the existing system.
The existing mystery box system, is that what you mean?
I rather to stay ambiguous.
So this is where, like, answering these questions every day is hard sometimes, because obviously I'm
sorry Barndog. I think we can talk a bit more about the scroll. The new design is we will have everyone to get a chance to earn or win the scroll when they run or work. Not for those people who have more than 3 shoes. In this way, I think even if you have only just 1 shoe, you will be able to get a scroll.
So not tied directly into luck, and this is that able to be talked out? Is it going to be a secondary use?
Yeah, basically it's designed for everyone.
Yeah, so cool, very cool. Because if if people have got 3 sneakers, then they're obviously earning energy at 4. But if people have got 2 sneakers and they want to mint, then they may feel left out that they can't, because they're not going to get those scrolls and then have to go and purchase those scrolls. All right, so at least that's a bit of clarification. Right, we've obviously got a lot of people here, similar very questions. So Solana GST pumped, we did that. So, I mean, do you want to talk about the dynamic minting and how that was, when Solana pumped up, you did a 40%, then a 60%, then 100% GMT on Solana. And the dynamic minting on Binance is very close to the same thing, is it not, Yawn?
Is the whole mechanic is the same, but the price of the GST is different. So we are using one universal rule to govern the both chains GST, although the price are different.
Is the event promoted by CoinMarketCap regarding the STEPN NFT badge legit? So we did, I was just trying to think about this. So that was the first thing I've seen about badges. Is that one legit?
That will kick off the badge system. So we will run some test badge, which is a limited edition for CoinMarketCap, I think, virtual conferences.
The GMT earning mechanics, I have asked a question in other AMAs, but is it going to be different rates on different realms, or the earning bomb mechanic be shared across all realms?
We will share across all realms, but bear in mind that in the new realm, they will take no interest in the GMT earning, as they will basically rush to that GST earnings for obvious reasons, basically. So for meetings, so that will everybody will share one universal GMT allocation on hourly basis, but many realm might not take interest of that.
I do have a link here from Zoli. Someone's linked this out. An idea here which seems quite popular with the ticks in that. So maybe you don't include low-level shoes in volts. So the Solana energy counts when it's a shoe above 15, for example.
We have designed the system to be really sort of solid planned, basically. So we've tried many other mechanics, and I think we find the one that is right. So people can provide recommendations under the feedback channel, but we will roll out the designs and to gauge that how the market responds to it, and then we'll do tweaks basically on base of the community recommendation or feedbacks.
There's a question I'm seeing there pinged. Will the next realm be a blockchain? So the third realm's been decided. It would have to be the logical guess and assumption. Is there any information we can gauge on that, or it's going to be hard to announce something without the other team?
Again, we are several months before we roll out the rounds. So again, like the meeting scroll, we're probably going to talk about it when we are near of rolling out the third round.
Would that be touching on legal implications, because then that might create speculation?
Sorry?
So will that create a bit of speculation if we're given this information ahead of a legal release date?
Yeah. So again, we mentioned the realm system, but again, I think people rather want to see how they roll out, and so we have to be really, sort of keep it secret before we roll it out.
Well, I do have one here from Roger Lamb, and this to me looks negative and FUD. So I'm going to read it out. But you say energy sharing was to help the Binance chain grow faster, saying if you stop energy sharing, people will only have two energy, etc., and left BST, GST price growing. What about Solana? When the game was first released, Solana didn't have any energy sharing. Everyone had two energy to start with, and it's favoritism towards Binance. So, I mean, for me, I'd like you to talk on it after, Yawn, but we did special boosts on Solana. We had a double GST event. We had a double energy event. There were bonuses to promote that GST pumping at the start. So did you want to talk any more on that, Yawn?
I mean, still, right? So people migrating to the BSC chain are mainly the Solana users already, right? They have a lot of Solana sneakers. They buy one pair of sneakers on BNB chain. Then they start to utilizing their full energies on Solana. And that will actually alleviate the pressures, the sell pressures on Solana, right? These people are not minting GST on Solana base. They are minting on the BNB. And they are not, they are holding the asset, but they're not using it. That is become redundant asset on Solana base, right? So we don't see what is the logic behind that claim that the BNB is siphoning on the Solana chain. There's no logic in that, right? So BNB are actually alleviating the sell pressures on Solana by having their own ecosystem.
You don't have people minting GST on Solana. They're minting on Binance instead. All right. A lot of very similar questions. All right. Any plans for upcoming events? I mean, we've got lots of events, obviously lots of live events, but the team has said live events, events once a month, and we've got big ones coming out with Panda, Skins, Scrolls. Did you want to touch on any of those in the next near future?
Yeah, the Panda skin is now down the pipeline and in design. So it will be now officially rolled out in the next 2 update, I believe. We pretty much have the skin designed and also mechanic planned out, and now it's basically in productions.
All right, so I don't even really understand this one from Ray Shaw. A lot of these. Do you guys understand that saying GMT is months away, which the team hasn't said that months away, they just said it's a little bit longer. No exact dates, that you aren't changing the energy link for 4 weeks. You've given the green light, so you've greenlit the massive sell-off on the Solana chain. Saying earning GMT will eventually be better in a few months is little solstice compared to everything in the past month is down 60% and will be down more well before GMT. I mean, this is going to be core part of what's fueled the last few days. So these are one of the comments here. So do you need me to repeat that, Yawn, regarding the the comment? So do you guys understand that saying GMT is months away and that you aren't changing the energy link for 4 weeks, that you've greenlit the massive sell-off on the Solana chain? I mean, you'll have back-end numbers for this. I don't know that I see the massive sell-off, but saying earning GMT will eventually be better in a few months is little solace when everything that was vested in the past month is 60 to 70% down and will likely be more down before GMT. So these are some of the comments I'm guessing that we've had in the last couple of days.
Okay, sure, I'll address that. So again, I don't see the fundamental logic behind why there will be massive sell-offs on Solana chains. Why? Right? People need that sneaker to fuel the BNB chain GST earning. Why they sell it? I don't understand why. I mean, I've been sitting here explaining the whole concept for the past hour, and people still don't understand. That get me to thinking where the fat is coming from. They genuinely don't understand what I'm talking about, or they just want to spread the fat. Literally, I want to ask the audience if the point I've made is either ambiguous or unclear or totally ununderstandable. Because really, people are playing STEPN. They just want to rush in and get their money back, and they can sell off their sneakers right off. Because we're trying to make an app that lasts for many years, and now the entire industry is hit by the bear market. And everything went down. Yes, we understand that, and we see the liquidity have been drawn out. We see the interest hike from the Federal Reserve in the U.S. That's all happening, and we are working really hard to making a stable ecosystem for all our users. And apparently, people are not understand that for the simple reason, just want to fund. And again, I want to urge people that understand of the reason of the fad. Are they really fighting or are they confused? Right? So I think I want to just make my impression, right? It's just really frustrating to see constant fad. I think also Gilfish was a little bit of frustrated by all this fad coming to her.
Yeah, she did she's done a good job through the last few days.
Yes. So we don't care for the people who just want to have the money back. Sell your sneakers or sell your GST, that's fine. But what we're trying to make is a community that are bound by what we believe and the value we hold. Not get the money back, right? So that's, I think, the whole point of this AMA is to talk to the community, understand the reason of FAT. If there's no reason behind the FAT, then, I mean, I'm going to ban this guy.
Right, let's keep going with some different questions here. And look, it's tough. definitely been a tough few days, and it's important. If you guys don't understand, definitely go back, re-listen to the AMA. Yawn's talked heavily about a lot of these things in the first half an hour as well. So we're going through some of these questions.
Yes, and also, sorry, I forgot to address the second question with the GMT. Basically, everything is dropped. That's understandable, and that's how crypto works, and that's how business cycle works. You have to deleverage, you have to pop the bubble. But in the end, sometimes when we do have a solid community, we do have a solid product, and we are burning the GMT every day. 6 million GMT are being burned every single day. And up to the point, there has to be a tipping point where there will be more demand than supplies. And we will see a natural growth of the GMT, a natural increase on demand for the GMT as we grow our users, as we grow or roll over on the rounds. So GMT earning will be made available even in the most crypto winter time. We still believe that we'll hold our value and we'll hold our position in this industry.
And you did talk about being in a bear market as well. Like you're doing all of this during a bear market. It's not really easy on both sides. The game's still moving. We're still earning money. Everyone's going outside. And I mean, a lot for me tips into people being more concerned about the profits. And people need to have a little bit of a think about the fact that this isn't just an earning game. It's about getting outside. It's about being healthy. It's about changing your attitudes, your life, getting a better mental health and a better outlook from doing an hour a day, 2 hours a day, depending on what you want to do. We've got live events firing up everywhere around the world. We've had personal life stories and things of people's lives being changed. Even this week, we had a gentleman travel from Canada to Greece to be here for the first Athens event. You know, these are some of the actual real world success stories, people traveling. And the game isn't just about your financial situation. You shouldn't be leveraged into these positions. You shouldn't be overdoing it. And you've got an option at any stage to be able to exit out of the game. I mean, Solana is different, obviously, in price points, but yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Jerry, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I just want to say something about the funding in the community. I did some, investigation in the past few days, and I found mainly from two different groups. One is from our copycats. We have lots of projects. They are copying our the concept, the product design, everything from us, and just spreading lots of no good wording in our community, and I know it. And the other group of people, they are basically shorting GMT, and I think they are the same group who are doing the DDoS attack every day to our server. Nowadays, you even won't believe it, because we have more than 30 attacks every day from different countries, mainly from the north, but I don't want to name it. But yeah, I think the two groups of people who fighting in the community, and for those people, I think some of them even haven't tried our product. They know nothing about the product. They just spreading the fighting in the community. So for our community member, I think you are playing the game. Actually, it's not a game. You are using the app every day, and we are doing our best to delivering the best product to you guys. And if you really love it, if the app really helps you improve your daily life, I think you should stay with us and build a community together with us. Yeah, we just finished here.
And it really frustrated me and Jerry that now a large portion of energy actually have to be diverse into dealing with all these DDoS attack. So we are facing like 100 million attack every day, and I mean, they didn't cause much to our user experience, but again, we got a bit of delay on several of the key elements we want to implement. I think we are looking at about 2 weeks delay already, which is actually not what we hold our standard for. We want to be a project that never delay on deliveries. But again, it's actually quite frustrating.
So does this mean this could the attacks you're talking about, the DDoS attacks, is why we've got people missing assets for several hours at times now when the Solana network's not, even the Binance network I noticed yesterday was a little bit tricky?
I think there was a super severe one on the 9th of May and several users got affected, but after that, we will be able to withhold all the attacks.
I'm just trying to curate through different channels as well. And I mean, I'm absolutely going to talk about health in the game. This to me is about more than just GST. I've seen multiple people say your NFTs, good health doesn't matter if your NFT goes to zero. Your NFTs haven't gone to zero. Your daily earnings haven't gone to zero. The GST dump isn't a GST dump. It's been a downgrade. People are moving and earning on Binance. There was another one here. Maybe we should release a transcript of these AMAs because not everybody is English fluent. That's a great idea. I like that. Thank you. Point redistribution. I mean, that's off topic of the funding at the moment, but point redistribution. Did we want
that will be the next? Yeah, that'll be the next use cases. But before that, we actually have 2 major updates we need to make with the meeting scroll system and the energy sharing system, and another major system we will talk about, but now been delayed. And then we're going to look at the redistribution of the points.
All right, we have done the hour. There was a good one here from Super Andrew, and I know he's Greek because we're going to have a drink on the weekend after our 5-kilometre run. But this is actually a good one. I like seeing this. We don't care about Energy Link and BSC about anything. All we care about is the leadership of the project for STEPN forward and reassure us that everything is going according to plan, roadmap, and even if the problems and issues appear, that you're working towards resolving them. And then give us that vision for the next few months. Reassurance and key is good and progression. Yawn and Jerry, thank you. It's actually really cool to see great community sentiment. And Jerry, I mean, you've had a heartfelt mention tonight, and this is pretty much on what people need to see is the team building out and coming in and doing a special midweek AMA and reassuring the community we're here, we're building, we're not going anywhere.
I think it's...
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I think it's, when we start the project, it's the end of the bull market, right? Everything expensive. People not really pay attention. And then we get into the bear market. Everything's tough. We have FUD. We have disbeliefs. We have people shorting us. We have DDoS attack. But I mean, me and Jerry and the whole team been through a lot of hardships, right? We have difficulty on the technologies. We basically bulldoze over that. I think we are being tested, and truly, I think in this bear market, and I think it will be even colder in this crypto winter. But I think it's never been a smooth drive for us up until now, right? We're facing difficulty almost every day, every second. But we're still, I think, holding the highest standard of delivery and building, and not only the product, but also communities. So I think we will get through the bear market and we'll survive. And, when the bull market comes, we will thrive. That's us what we see.
Just going through the questions as you're going there, Yawn. All right, there's another low-level user. Belipton. So 38 minutes in, when is this going to go from being a press release to an AMA? So I'll start with that, is because we give the team time to talk, and we've gone from around the half-hour mark and talked, and we've gone over an hour. Everything when asked to be transparent, the tokenomic impacts of energy sharing on GST, be it good or bad, the response is forget GST, GMT is all that matters. Why not propose GMT? This is a little bit frustrating. And I mean, this is the second chat you've had in here. If you're not going to have useful things to say, dude, like, I'm going to give the team the respect they deserve, and they've given the community and given us great answers along the way. So if you don't have a great comment or anything like that, you're just trying to get your links out there, by all means, you're not really welcome in the AMA. What about GST, increasing GST costs on the STEPN app? So I saw this a couple of times in the feed here, people asking potentially we could increase the cost of minting on Solana. But has the team considered anything like that?
Because the minting, the rules are shared across different realms, right? The minting rules are shared on Solana and BNB. So we cannot have special cases for one realm and different for the other. That will cause chaotic, and technically it's also very difficult to manage. So that's the reason with dynamic minting, because that will enable us to govern the minting under one rule, but also be flexible.
All right, one from Shui, and I love the Shui name. Do we hear it correctly that STEPN is implementing a DEX? Yes, 100%. That was new news tonight.
A multi-chain DEX.
Multi-chain DEX. I know, that's awesome. It's definitely something we're going to have to talk about heavily through the weekend. Just after the AMA, Yawn, I've got to head off to the Botanical Garden soon and set up for the weekend. After the AMA, is it possible to stay back a little bit to answer a few additional questions?
Yeah, of course.
So for people that may have had questions asked, that's awesome. Thank you, Yawn. We'll spend some time trying to go through it. And is the team doxed? Yes, 100%. Do you want to talk about that a little bit, Yawn?
I mean, people have been interviewing us and like hundreds of times, and they have our profiles up there, have LinkedIn. I mean, what else they want, right? They want our address.
It is funny saying this. So I mean, other team docs, I've been there and run laps with Yawn. So there's definitely never going to be, I'm answering the question, is there ever going to be a possibility of a bridge for GST, or is it always going to be a single on the realm? It's always going to be separation of that GST.
It is 100% separation, because that's the beauty of pseudo independency, right? So the only thing that connect are one, energy, and two, GMT. Because you're looking at an inflationary asset, and why you bridge an inflationary asset?
Yeah, I get that. All right, we've probably come to the time. We did have over 6,000 at one stage there. Yawn has offered to stay back and do additional time. We didn't get anywhere through the question list. Obviously, there's over 7,000 people listening on stage. I implore people, I'm going to make sure I get the uploading going before I go out for the AMA. And it will take an hour or two at least. I know what the internet's like here, so I do apologise for the delay. I want to get it out to the community as quickly as possible. But do you want to have any? I'll start with Jerry first. But Jerry, have you got any closing thoughts for the session and the week that we've had?
I think we've already talked about most thoughts. It's mainly because the community made us really frustrated in the past few days, and now
I think it's not.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's not community that make us frustrated. It's a father.
Yeah. Sorry for that. I'm okay now.
And then Yawn, did you want to close that off?
I mean, I think we made our point, and we have a lot of things we need to build. And yes, so we do have a very long-term objective and perspective of how we're going to grow the STEPN as well as the other things we built. And people shouldn't really be short-sighted into just this single bear market cycle. They should be really looking at the long-term perspective of how we grow things. And I think we have reasonably demonstrated our capabilities of delivering and building a good product. So GST price, yes, it's dropped. And it's dropped with BTC, it dropped with pretty much everything else. And yes, we are in the bear market, and we are looking at liquidity being pulled away from the whole market. And will be probably more to come in the future if Fed decided to taper or increase interest rate. But that's life, right? We're gonna persevere and we're gonna keep building and delivering and then get through this, and as a community and as a project together.
That's awesome. Like, I really appreciate the team coming together this week. And like I've said a couple of times, Gilgamesh has done a great job this week trying to help as well in the community. I mean, this is why we're here midweek. Normally we do the weekly AMAs and updates, and we've done that since December. So we've done that for the better part of just over 6 months. So it's awesome to have you guys midweek and to go over some of the FUDs and talk about it. But I guess this is part of the growth, isn't it, for STEPN and part of our journey?
Yep. I mean, still 6 months old, we want to be here again next year this time and talk about this experience. And it'll be much more pleasant talk, I think.
I like it. Look, we're going to have some unpleasant talks and unpleasant AMAs and community talking about what they want to talk about. I appreciate you staying back, Yawn. Jerry, thanks for your time as always. And for the community, I know there's a lot of questions missed. We'll try to get through those. But from the midweek, I'll try to do extra time in the Discord myself to get through some of the suggestions tab to see if there's anything sort of relevant there. It's hard. There are hundreds of thousands of messages going through with a full Discord. But thank you, Yawn. Thank you, Jerry. And everyone have a great midweek. And I'll see you guys Saturday night.
Thank you. Thank you, Barndog, for being here.